The bright screens of the EBS Thunderstorms bridge cast a blue glow over Captain Jiwoo's face. He stood still, his eyes fixed on the radar display. 3 unknown objects had just appeared at the edge of the Sol system, moving faster than any human ship could travel. "Signal the Earth Defense Command," Jiwoo ordered, his voice steady despite the tension in the room. Unknown vessels approaching from Sector 7. The communication officer, a young woman named Mina, sent the message immediately. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel as she established a secure channel to Earth. Back on Earth, Admiral Han was enjoying his morning coffee when the emergency alert lit up his office. He put down his cup and pressed the button to receive the transmission. As he read the message, his face grew serious. Within minutes, he had called an emergency meeting with Earth's top military leaders. The unknown ships continued their approach. They were massive, each one larger than the biggest Earth battleship. Their hulls gleamed with a strange purple metal that Earth's sensors couldn't identify. "Captain," Mina called out, "they're broadcasting a message. They've already translated it into English." Jiwoo straightened his uniform. "Put it through." A deep, rumbling voice filled the bridge. "Attention primitive vessels. This is High Commander Kex of the Krall Empire. Your system is now under our protection. Prepare for inspection." The crew of the Thunderstorm looked at each other nervously. Jiwoo kept his face calm, but inside, he felt anger rising. No one called Earth's ships primitive. "This is Captain Jiwoo of the Earth Defense Fleet," he responded. "We welcome peaceful contact, but we do not need protection. This system is under Earth's authority." There was a pause, then laughter came through the speakers. "Earth. Ah yes, the planet of apes who recently learned to split atoms. How quaint. Prepare for our arrival. Resistance will be unfortunate." Admiral Han watched the recorded exchange from Earth's military command center. Around him, generals and admirals argued about how to respond. Some wanted to show force immediately. Others suggested caution. "Quiet," Han commanded, and the room fell silent. "Captain Jiwoo, maintain your position. Do not reveal our true capabilities. I want these aliens to keep thinking we're primitive." The Krall ships moved closer, their purple hulls now visible to the naked eye through the Thunderstorm's windows. They were shaped like giant arrowheads, with strange patterns glowing along their sides. Jiwoo noticed something odd about their approach. "They're not taking any defensive positions," he said quietly to his tactical officer. "They really think we're harmless." The first diplomatic meeting was set up on a neutral space station near Mars. Jiwoo represented Earth's military, along with 2 diplomats. The Krall commanders who walked in were tall, their skin a pale blue, wearing armor that seemed to shift colors as they moved. "We have reviewed your technology level," the lead Krall said, looking down at the humans. "Your ships are cute, but you need our guidance to avoid destroying yourselves." Jiwoo kept his face neutral, but his hand tightened on his chair. Earth's ships were far more advanced than they appeared. The new Guardian battleship, hidden in the asteroid belt, carried weapons that could reshape reality itself. But that was Earth's secret, for now. The meeting ended badly. The Krall refused to acknowledge Earth's sovereignty and demanded access to all human military installations for inspection. As Jiwoo's shuttle returned to the Thunderstorm, he sent an encrypted message to Admiral Han. "They're going to attack. They think it will be easy." Han read the message in his command center. He looked at the hidden fleet readings on his screen. Hundreds of Earth's most powerful ships, waiting in secret locations throughout the solar system. Then he thought about the Guardian, Earth's greatest achievement, powered by technology that would make even advanced aliens pause. "Let them think we're weak," Han said to his staff. "When they attack, they'll learn what humans can really do." He sent orders to all fleet commanders. "Prepare for war, but remain hidden. Let the Krall make the first move. They'll never know what hit them." As the sun set over Earth's military headquarters, the planet's most powerful weapons remained concealed, waiting. The Krall Empire was about to learn a hard lesson about underestimating humans. The real question was, how many alien ships would Earth have to destroy before they understood their mistake? Lieutenant Una sat in her dimly lit office aboard Earth's main space station. Her eyes were tired from studying alien ship recordings for 12 hours straight, but she had finally found something important. Admiral Han, she called through the video link. I've discovered a weakness in the Krall ships. Their shield technology has a 3-second reset after each energy burst. The Admiral leaned forward in his chair. How sure are you about this? Very sure, sir. I've watched their military parade footage 100 times. They don't even try to hide it because they think we're too primitive to notice. While they talked, Commander Sunho was performing final checks on the Guardian, Earth's most advanced battleship. Hidden in a secret dock inside an asteroid, the Guardian looked different from other ships. Its dark hull seemed to absorb light, and its shape kept changing slightly, like a living thing. Power systems at full capacity, reported his engineer. The new quantum weapons are ready. Sunho nodded. He had helped design this ship, but even he didn't fully understand all its capabilities. They had built something that broke the normal rules of physics. Back on Earth, Admiral Han called an emergency meeting. The room was filled with military leaders, all watching a large screen showing Krall fleet movements. They're positioning ships near our outer colonies, Han explained. We've intercepted their messages. They plan to attack tomorrow. An officer raised his hand. Sir, shouldn't we warn our people to evacuate? No, Han replied. Any unusual movement will alert them. We need them to think their surprise attack will work. Lieutenant Una shared her findings with the group. She showed videos of Krall ships, pointing out their weak spots. Their technology is advanced, but they're overconfident. They don't upgrade their defenses because no one has ever challenged them. In deep space, the Krall War Council met on their flagship. Their admiral, a tall blue-skinned alien named Rex, looked at Earth's data with amusement. These humans are still using basic fusion drives, he laughed. Their strongest weapons are simple nuclear devices. This will be the easiest conquest in our history. Another Krall officer spoke up. But sir, some of our scouts report strange energy readings from the asteroid belt. Probably their primitive mining operations. Rex dismissed the concern. Prepare all ships for attack. We will take their colonies first, then Earth itself. Meanwhile, Commander Sunho ran another test of the Guardian's special weapons. The quantum cascade cannon fired a beam of pure white light at a test asteroid. The asteroid didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist. Perfect, Sunho said quietly. His crew looked at each other with proud smiles. They knew their ship could change the course of the coming war. Lieutenant Una's computer suddenly beeped. She had been monitoring Krall communications. Admiral Han. They're moving their ships into attack positions. It's starting sooner than we thought. Han quickly sent encoded messages to Earth's hidden fleet. Each ship acknowledged silently, ready to defend their home. The Guardian powered up its systems, still invisible to Krall sensors. Commander Sunho, Han's message reached the Guardian. Stay hidden until my signal. When the Krall attack our colonies, they'll spread their forces thin. That's when we reveal our true strength. The Krall ships moved through space, their crews confident and relaxed. They had conquered 30 alien species before, and none had ever surprised them. Their purple hulls glowed as they approached the human colonies, weapons ready. Admiral Rex stood on his bridge, smiling. Send the first warning shots. Let's see how quickly these primitive humans surrender. But in the darkness of space, Earth's forces were ready. The Guardian's quantum engines hummed silently. Lieutenant Una's targeting data was shared with every human ship. Admiral Han watched from his command center, waiting for the perfect moment. Let them fire first, Han told his commanders. Let them think they have us beaten. Then we'll show them what humanity can really do. The Krall Empire had no idea they were about to attack the most dangerous, primitive species they had ever met. Their arrogance had blinded them to the truth. Humans were masters of deception, and they were about to spring their trap. The attack on Mars colony started at dawn, Earth time. The Krall ships appeared suddenly, their purple hulls gleaming in the red Martian sunlight. Thousands of colonists looked up in fear as the massive alien vessels filled their sky. "Surrender now," the Krall message boomed across all channels. "You have 10 minutes to lower your shields." The Mars colony leader sent an emergency signal to Earth. Admiral Han watched from his command center as the Krall ships positioned themselves around the colony. His face showed no emotion as he pressed the communication button. "Now, Commander Sunho," he ordered quietly. "Show them what the Guardian can do." The space around Mars seemed to bend. Suddenly, the Guardian appeared between the colony and the Krall ships. Its dark hull absorbed the sunlight, making it look like a hole in space. The Krall ships immediately turned their weapons toward it. "What is that?" Admiral Rex demanded, watching from his flagship. "Our sensors didn't detect its approach." The Guardian's response was simple but devastating. Its adaptive shields glowed as the Krall ships fired their first shots. But instead of being damaged, the Guardian's shields absorbed the energy and grew stronger. Commander Sunho stood calmly on his bridge. "Return fire," he ordered. "Standard weapons only. Let's not show all our cards yet." The Guardian's normal weapons might have been standard, but they were far from weak. Beams of concentrated energy shot out, hitting the Krall ships exactly where Lieutenant Yuna had identified their shield weakness. 3 Krall ships exploded immediately. Their crews never had time to realize what was happening. The other ships tried to regroup, but they were slow and clumsy compared to the Guardian. "Impossible," Rex shouted as he watched the battle footage. "They're targeting our shield reset points perfectly. How did these primitives learn our weakness?" Lieutenant Yuma sat in her control room on Earth, directing targeting data to the Guardian. Her computer screen showed every move the Krall ships made. "Their ships still follow the same patterns," she reported to Admiral Han. "They haven't changed their tactics in 100 years." The battle for Mars lasted only 20 minutes. When it ended, 7 Krall ships were destroyed, and the others had fled in panic. The colony was safe, and not a single human life was lost. Commander Sunho sent a message to the retreating Krall ships. "This is Earth's first warning. Leave our colonies alone or face the consequences." Back on their flagship, the Krall admirals watched the battle recording again and again. They couldn't understand what they had seen. The Guardian's technology was unlike anything in their experience. "Look at how it moves," one admiral said, his blue skin pale with fear. "That ship isn't using any propulsion system we know. And its shields, they're impossible." Admiral Rex was no longer smiling. "Send word to the Emperor," he ordered. "The humans, they've been hiding their true capabilities. We need reinforcements." On Earth, Admiral Han called a meeting with his commanders. The room was filled with happy faces. Their first victory had been perfect. "Good work, everyone," Han said. "But this was just the beginning. The Krall will return with more ships, and next time they won't underestimate us." Lieutenant Yuna shared new data with the group. "They're calling for their main fleet," she reported. "Over 300 ships are heading toward our solar system." Commander Sunho's image appeared on the main screen. He was still aboard the Guardian, orbiting Mars protectively. "Admiral, we haven't even shown them our quantum weapons yet. When their main fleet arrives, should we demonstrate our full power?" Han thought for a moment. "No," he decided. "Let them come. Let them gather their entire fleet. When they attack again, we'll show them exactly why you don't threaten Earth." The Guardian remained on patrol near Mars, its dark hull a warning to any Krall ship that came too close. Inside the ship, Commander Sunho watched his crew work with pride. They had trained for years for this moment, and they hadn't disappointed. The first battle was over, but the real war was just beginning. As the Krall Empire gathered its forces for a major attack, Earth's defenders prepared for an even bigger fight. The Guardian had shown only a fraction of its true power, and soon, the aliens would learn just how terrible a mistake they had made in attacking humanity. 2 weeks after the Mars battle, Earth's military leaders gathered in the underground command center. The room was silent as Admiral Han showed them the latest space scans. "The Krall main fleet has arrived," he said, pointing to hundreds of purple dots on the big screen. "They're gathering near Jupiter. It's time for Operation Thunderbolt." Captain Jiwoo stood up from his seat. "My fleet is ready, Admiral. We'll draw their attention while the Guardian moves into position." The plan was simple but clever. Captain Jiwoo would lead 50 Earth ships in what looked like a desperate attack. The Krall would think they were facing Earth's main force. They wouldn't know about the other 200 ships hiding behind Jupiter's moons. Lieutenant Yuna checked her screens one last time. "The Krall still haven't fixed their shield weakness," she reported. "They're too proud to admit they need to change." In deep space, the Krall fleet filled the area around Jupiter. Their new fleet commander, Admiral Vex, had replaced Rex after the Mars defeat. He watched Earth's ships with cold eyes. "These humans got lucky once," he told his officers, "but now they faced the true might of the Krall Empire. No one has ever survived against our main fleet." Captain Jiwoo's ships moved forward, their engines bright against the dark space. They looked small compared to the massive Krall fleet. Some of his crew members were nervous, but Jiwoo smiled calmly. "Remember," he told them, "we just need to keep their attention for 30 minutes. Make them think we're desperate. Make them think we're afraid." The battle began with a flash of light. The Krall ships fired their weapons, filling space with purple energy beams. Jiwoo's fleet dodged and weaved, taking a few hits but staying together. "They're so primitive," Admiral Vex laughed. "Look how they struggle against our simple attacks. Push forward. Destroy them all." But something wasn't right. Lieutenant Yuna, watching from Earth, saw the confusion starting to spread among the Krall ships. "They're falling for it," she reported to Admiral Han. "They're moving away from Jupiter, just like we planned." Commander Sunho waited patiently aboard the Guardian, hidden with the rest of Earth's real fleet. The quantum engines hummed softly, ready for action. His crew watched their screens, counting down the minutes. Jiwoo's ships continued their act, pretending to fight desperately. Some fired weak shots that barely damaged the Krall shields. Others acted like they were trying to run away. "Chase them," Vex ordered his fleet. "Don't let any human ship escape." That was their mistake. As the Krall ships moved forward, they left their rear unprotected. They were so focused on Jiwoo's small fleet that they didn't watch their backs. Admiral Han checked his watch. "Now," he said quietly into his communicator, "Operation Thunderbolt begins." The space behind the Krall fleet suddenly filled with light. Earth's hidden ships appeared all at once, led by the Guardian. They had emerged from their hiding spots behind Jupiter's moons, and now the Krall fleet was trapped between two forces. "What? Impossible!" Admiral Vex shouted as new alerts filled his screen. Where did these ships come from? Jiwoo's fleet stopped retreating. His ships turned around, their weapons now showing their true power. The Krall fleet was caught in a perfect trap. "All ships, attack." Han's voice came through every Earth vessel's speakers. "Show them why you don't threaten humanity." The Guardian moved like a dark shadow through the Krall fleet, its normal weapons destroying ship after ship. The other Earth vessels followed, using Yuna's targeting data to hit the Krall shields at their weakest points. Admiral Vex watched in horror as his fleet started falling apart. "We must retreat," he ordered. "Back to the Empire. These humans, they tricked us." But retreat wasn't easy. Earth's ships had surrounded them completely. The mighty Krall fleet, which had never lost a battle before, was being torn apart by the very primitives they had laughed at. "Should we use the quantum weapons now?" Sunho asked through his comlink. "Not yet," Han replied. Let them run. Let them tell their empire what happened here. The real surprise is still to come. The battle ended with the Krall fleet running away, leaving behind dozens of destroyed ships. As they fled, they could still see the Guardians' dark shape against Jupiter's glow, a warning of what waited if they dared to return. Earth had won again, but everyone knew this was still just the beginning. The Krall Empire would return with an even bigger fleet. But next time, humanity wouldn't hold back. 3 days after the Jupiter battle, the largest Krall fleet ever seen entered the solar system. Over 500 warships, including their legendary planet killer vessels, filled the space near Saturn's rings. This ends today. The Krall Emperor's message boomed across all channels. Surrender Earth, or we will destroy every planet in your system. Admiral Han stood in Earth's command center, his face serious as he looked at the threat display. Lieutenant Yuna sat nearby, her fingers moving quickly over her keyboard. They brought their entire empire's fleet, she reported. Even their homeworlds are unprotected now. They're desperate. Commander Sun Ho's voice came through the comm system from the Guardian. Admiral, it's time to show them our real power. The quantum cascade cannon is ready. Han nodded slowly. Agreed. All ships to battle positions. Today we show the Krall what humanity can really do. The space around Saturn turned bright as both fleets moved into position. The Krall ships formed a massive wall of purple hulls, their weapons glowing. Earth's smaller fleet faced them, with the Guardian in the center. Look at their tiny fleet. The Krall Emperor laughed from his golden command ship. They still think they can fight us. Fire the planet killer beam. Show them true power. The largest Krall ship opened its front section, revealing a massive cannon. Green energy gathered at its tip, building up to a shot that could crack a planet in half. But Commander Sun Ho was faster. Quantum cascade cannon. First stage, he ordered. His crew quickly pressed the special controls that only they understood. The Guardian's hull began to shift and change. Parts that had been hidden before opened up, revealing a weapon that seemed to bend the space around it. The ship's dark color turned deeper, as if it was absorbing all light. What is that? The Krall Emperor demanded, watching his screen. Our sensors can't even read it. Lieutenant Yuna's voice came through all Earth ships. Guardians firing solution ready. All ships clear the target zone. The quantum cascade cannon fired. There was no bright beam, no explosive sound. Instead, a wave of pure darkness spread out from the Guardian. Where it touched Krall ships, they simply disappeared. Not exploded, not destroyed. They ceased to exist. 50 Krall ships vanished in the first shot. The space they had occupied was empty. Not even debris remained. The entire Krall fleet froze in shock. Impossible, the Emperor screamed. Nothing can do that. Fire all weapons. The Krall fleet attacked with everything they had. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and gravity bombs flew toward the Guardian. But its adaptive shields had evolved beyond anything the aliens could understand. Each hit made the shield stronger. Second stage, Sun Ho commanded calmly. The quantum cannon pulsed again. This time, the wave of darkness was bigger. 100 more Krall ships vanished. The mighty alien fleet, the strongest in the galaxy, was being erased from existence. They're breaking formation, Yuna reported, watching the Krall ships start to scatter. Their command structure is falling apart. The Emperor's golden ship turned to retreat, but it was too late. The Guardian's quantum wave reached it, and the proud ruler of the Krall Empire vanished along with his vessel. All remaining Krall ships, Admiral Han's voice boomed across space. This is your only warning. Leave our solar system now, or cease to exist. Your choice. The alien fleet ran. Ships disappeared into jump points so quickly they crashed into each other. In less than an hour, the space around Saturn was clear except for Earth's fleet. Commander Sun Ho powered down the quantum cascade cannon. Its use had drained much of the Guardian's energy, but it had been worth it. His crew cheered as the last Krall ship vanished into deep space. Status report. Han called to all ships. The responses came back quickly. Not a single Earth vessel had been lost. The Guardian's show of power had been so overwhelming that the battle was more of an execution than a fight. Lieutenant Yuna's final scan showed the result. Over 300 Krall ships erased from existence, the rest running in terror. And their emperor gone. Earth had not just won. They had shown the galaxy a power that no one knew could exist. Send word to all colonies, Han ordered. The threat is over. Earth is safe. He looked at the Guardian's image on his screen and smiled. And the galaxy just learned why you should never underestimate humans. The Krall War Council met in their backup command center on their homeworld. The room was filled with scared faces. Blue-skinned admirals and generals whispered to each other, watching recordings of the battle near Saturn over and over. How? One general asked, his voice shaking. How did these humans build something like this? The Guardian just made our ships disappear. The acting emperor, who had just taken power after the previous emperor's destruction, stood up. His hands were trembling. We lost our best fleet. Our emperor is gone. And we still don't understand what hit us. Meanwhile, on Earth, Lieutenant Yuna was studying data from the battle. She looked up from her screens as Admiral Han entered her office. "Sir," she said, "I've analyzed the Krall communications. They're in complete panic. Their entire empire is falling apart without their emperor." Han nodded. "And the quantum cascade cannon? Did they learn anything about how it works?" Yuma smiled. "No, sir. They can't even detect what it does. Their science can't explain how their ships just vanished." On the Guardian, Commander Sunho was meeting with his crew. The ship had recovered its energy after using the quantum weapon, but they kept it ready just in case. The Krall aren't the only aliens out there, Sunho told his crew. But after today, everyone in the galaxy will think twice before attacking Earth. Captain Jiwoo's fleet patrolled the outer solar system, making sure no Krall ships tried to sneak back. His sensors picked up hundreds of emergency messages from the Krall Empire. "Listen to this," Jiwoo said to his bridge crew, playing a Krall transmission. "They're calling humans the Shadow Makers now. They think we can make anything disappear at will." Back in the Krall War Council, the generals argued about what to do next. Some wanted to surrender to Earth immediately. Others wanted to try one last attack. "Are you insane?" shouted an old admiral. "Did you see what they did to our fleet? To our emperor? One ship, their Guardian, destroyed our most powerful weapons like they were toys." The acting emperor raised his hand for silence. "What do our scientists say about this human weapon?" A scared-looking scientist stepped forward. We don't know how it works. It breaks every law of physics we know. It's like they control reality itself." On Earth, Admiral Han met with the world's leaders. The meeting room was full of happy faces and proud smiles. "The Krall Empire is falling apart," Han reported. "Their colonies are declaring independence. Their military is in chaos. And it's all because they can't understand how we beat them." Lieutenant Yuna added her report. "They're spreading stories about us across the galaxy. Every alien species is hearing about the Guardian and its impossible weapon. Some don't believe it's real, until they see the battle recordings." Commander Sunho's face appeared on the meeting room screen. He was still aboard the Guardian, which now orbited Earth like a protective shadow. The quantum cascade cannon changed everything. Sunho said, "The Krall thought they knew everything about space warfare. Now they're afraid of shadows." The Earth leaders discussed what to do next. They had to decide how to deal with their sudden power in the galaxy. "The Krall Empire ruled through fear," Han said. "But we can be different. We can show strength without being cruel." As they talked, more reports came in from space. The Krall military was surrendering everywhere they met human ships. Their mighty empire, which had lasted for 1,000 years, had fallen in just one battle. "Send a message to the Krall acting emperor," Han ordered. "Tell him we're ready to discuss peace terms." Lieutenant Yuna sent the message. Minutes later, the reply came. The Krall would accept any terms Earth offered. They just wanted one promise, that the Guardian would never fire its quantum weapon at their homeworld. "They still don't understand," Sun Ho said quietly to his crew. "We could have destroyed their whole empire. But humans are better than that. We fight to protect, not to conquer." The day ended with Earth's leaders planning for a new future. Humanity had proved itself the strongest force in the galaxy. But now they had to show they could also be the wisest. 1 month after the Great Battle, Earth's main space station hosted a historic meeting. Representatives from 30 alien species came to witness the peace treaty signing between Earth and the Krall Empire. The Guardian floated near the station, its dark hull a reminder of humanity's power. Commander Sun Ho stood at the station's main window, looking at his ship with pride. "Hard to believe one battle changed so much," Lieutenant Yuna said, joining him at the window. She held a data pad with the latest reports. "Every alien species wants to be our friend now." The station's main hall was filled with different alien races. Some had blue skin like the Krall, others were tall and thin, and some looked like walking crystals. All of them watched the humans with a mixture of fear and respect. "Welcome to the Peace Conference," Admiral Han announced to the gathered aliens. "Today marks a new chapter in galactic history." The Krall acting emperor walked in, looking much less proud than his people used to be. He wore simple clothes instead of the fancy royal armor their leaders usually wore. Captain Jiwoo, who had led the first fleet against the Krall, read the peace terms. "The Krall Empire will free all its conquered worlds. They will never attack another species without cause, and they will help build a new galactic council where all species have equal voice." The acting emperor signed quickly. His hand shook as he looked at the Guardian through the station's windows. "We agree to all terms," he said. "We have learned our lesson about underestimating others." Lieutenant Yuna's computer beeped. "Sir," she whispered to Admiral Han, "the Krall just sent messages to every world they ruled. They're announcing their surrender and freedom for all their colonies." Han smiled. "Good. Now for the next part." He turned to face the alien audience. "Earth offers friendship to all peaceful species. We will use our strength to protect, not to conquer." Commander Sun Ho stepped forward. "The Guardian and its quantum cascade cannon will never be used against peaceful worlds. This is humanity's promise." The aliens whispered among themselves. Many had come expecting Earth to announce its own empire. Instead, they heard offers of protection and peace. But how? A crystal alien asked. "How did humans build such powerful technology?" Sun Ho laughed softly. "We just never stopped trying new ideas. We never believed anything was impossible. That's humanity's real strength." The meeting continued with more speeches and agreements. Earth signed treaties with 15 different species that day. Even some former Krall enemies came to ask for friendship. Back on Earth, celebrations filled every city. People watched the peace conference on huge screens. They cheered when they saw alien ships approaching Earth peacefully for the first time. "Look at us now," Jiwoo said to his crew. "A few months ago, the Krall thought we were primitive apes. Now we're leading the galaxy toward peace." Lieutenant Yuna worked at her computer, reading messages from across space. "Every alien science academy wants to study with us now. They all want to know how we think so differently from them." Admiral Han met with his officers one last time before the ceremonies ended. "Remember this day," he told them. "We didn't just win a war. We changed how the galaxy thinks about humans." The Guardian remained Earth's symbol of power, but it was no longer feared. Instead, it became a sign of protection. Other species knew that if they were attacked unfairly, the Guardian might appear to help them. Commander Sun Ho received Earth's highest medal for his role in the victory. But when asked about it, he always said the same thing. The Guardian wasn't just a powerful ship. It showed that humans can do anything if we don't limit our dreams. The story of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy. But it wasn't just a story about a powerful weapon. It was about how a species that everyone thought was primitive had outsmarted the greatest empire in space. What will humans do next? Aliens would ask each other. The answer came from Lieutenant Yuna in her speech at the closing ceremony. We'll keep exploring, keep inventing, keep trying new things. That's what humans do. We never stop wondering what's possible. As the alien ships left Earth's space that day, they knew they had witnessed the start of a new age. Humanity had proved itself not just powerful, but wise enough to use that power well. The Guardian still patrols Earth's space, ready to protect not just humanity, but any species that needs help. It reminds everyone that the most dangerous mistake in the galaxy is thinking humans are primitive, because humans will always prove them wrong.